Path of Fire 3?
So what happens is this: there's two issues as pertains
Last
to me.
time, things got set on fire because you did something you shouldn't have.
The first is that
Now you've lost your
whenever
friends.
I see a woman
Now you think you
who
can find
looks
them
like
again
a
at the next
prostitute,
city.
but I don't know for sure.
But there's a
because it's not
mountain
like I'm
involved.
walking up to the person who's probably a
Let's see how that
prostitute
goes.
asking if, in fact, she is a prostitute. I just assume that she is based on her clothing and where she's standing and her demeanor, and then I feel shitty for that because I don't know if this person's a prostitute. There's a strong chance that she is based on everything I've seen from the many, many prostitutes in my neighborhood, but I don't know that for sure, so I feel kind of like a dick for thinking that. I'm like, why do I think she's a prostitute?
Also, last
Because I've
time,
never
off
been to a
camera,
prostitute, so I can't know, like,
I had
for
leveled
sure.
up enough
And then I
to
started
where I
thinking, like,
mastered out the Master Midas
media can't make
and
you
his
do things.
amazing
Like,
spells.
You can't, you don't like play Doom one day and start shooting up a postal
Maybe
office
not really
or something. Wow, Doom, that's a
amazing,
reference.
but just really good at this early point in the game.
Yeah. You know how you play Doom after you play
With him I learned Frost, Meditation, Magic Ball, and Typhoon. Meditation is not as...
I just made a Rolodex
not really what
reference. So.
I am needing, but it'll be great for a new caster later. But Frost is good against, you know, elemental weaknesses. Magic Ball is just all around awesome. It somehow bypasses lots of defenses and does some major damage. And Typhoon is good to attack everything if you need it.
The fact that prostitutes dress a certain way.
His stature is a little off for himself. He's mostly combat type, melee, swords.
Why am I so judgmental about
But he
it?
also has healing.
The route that it took her to living as a prostitute was not one that it wasn't one that she was like gunning for.
So now we need to look into,
we
need to cross a mountain.
That's
That's where I spent most of my time
I
at.
think there's a group of prostitutes somewhere who are talking. We're like, it's not their fault that they're podcasters. It's not like they wanted to grow up to be that way. It's just they got
We're leaving the Thurial region. I don't know if I pronounced that right. And now we're in Windia.
I feel bad because I assume, and then I feel bad because part of me is judging a little, and really there's, I don't know this person's story. All kinds of things could have happened to this person that led her to this. But anyway, that's not the main problem I have with the fact that there's prostitutes in my neighborhood, because that's all.
It was here that using Frost was very important.
The real problem I have
Because there's these mud
with
creatures.
the prostitutes in my neighborhood.
And these mud creatures are very
And not in the way that like
susceptible to the frost, which means once you kill them, you got a lot of experience out of them. Unlike these nut creatures, they're not very good at giving experience.
Or it might be an invention of film.
Johnny, do you want to chime in here with some real facts? about
That's one of them.
the daily work
This
life?
one's a friendly doe.
Well, you know,
Now you're just gonna make your way up to the mountain.
as aggressively as you
I've already explored this area for all the
And
items that
actually,
there
what I
was.
wanna talk about, no, prostitutes do not like casually walk up to me and say one date or walk by
Now I
me.
get to show you firsthand why frost is so useful.
I don't know. Again, I'm dating myself. All I know of prostitutes, you know, I see them all the time.
So it freezes him in place.
The prostitutes don't walk up to me and say, "Hey, Stammer," or whatever.
There's a lot of experience when it started out.
well, that's a dead giveaway that you absolutely want to
Right now I'm also to be training under Bunyan, the woodsman. He'll give me a lot more power and defense and HP in exchange for my AP and intelligence.
No, Leon, they're camping out the parking spots to force you into that interaction, you see.
That's a very aggressive way to market themselves. I mean,
Since he's mostly a combat type, melee.
They just pull in and they walk right up to the passenger side.
Kind of wanted to start gaining more attack power anyway.
I could roll down the window and say, "Ma'am, I'm not actually interested," and that would be the end of the
These nut troops are weak to burn, so it's pretty much an instant kill.
Or if a couple and I'm looking at it and see me pulling down my window, the implication there is clear. So instead, I leave the window.
I don't like wasting my AP too much.
A very right in, too.
They drop Molotovs, which are slightly more powerful
I
than
look over
burn.
to her, shake my head, and say, no!
Probably more likely to sell those.
I could possibly not want to have sex with her. And I have to say it again. I'm like, no! And I'm shaking.
Do you have like a lilt in your voice? No!
I can't just say, I don't want to sound mean. So I said, no, bad.
Just carry a rolled up newspaper to swat the snouts of prostitutes.
It sounds really, it's really mean.
This is the most dehumanizing conversation we've ever had, and we talk about Sean as if he's like less than human on a regular basis.
And I feel bad, so I can't, I don't want to, be mean about it, because again, they've probably had some bad stuff happen to them, and the last thing they need is someone
Sure, I want to make a comment
who
on
has
that.
a regular 9 to 5 and a side job, is saying, no, I'm above this. So I just kind of get a little panicky.
It's at this point that you wonder if there's an intelligence problem
They
here.
eventually go away. And then I have to wait until they leave before I get out of my car. Because I don't want to have to explain myself. I don't want to have to get out of my car and say,
I'm just picturing you sitting cowering in your car for like 15 minutes blasting Kiss from a Rose. Magic.
I actually did.
These
have
are
to
the
get-
worst
I didn't
assassins
feel like
ever.
waiting 'cause I had things to do. And she was still kind of hanging around, not waiting for me, but just, doing her job. Yeah. Right, she's spawn camping the sidewalk. So I got out of my car, and she gives me a, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I wore my
Stop.
best.
Is that the word you're looking for?
Yes, I wore my best inside leopard outfit. And he won't even have sex with me for money. So I just
Oh, these guys
put
are
my head
jerks.
down. I'm like, man, I don't need this right now. And I went home. But this happens on a fairly frequent basis. There's another thing that happens in my neighborhood that is less intrusive. Drug dealers are in my neighborhood, but
Oh,
they are
oh,
far more
what's this?
polite about it. And I don't know if that's just the industry, or if I just happen to have a good crop of completely polite drug dealers in my neighborhood. But drug dealers typically approach me in this way. I'm walking home, and it's like 10 or 11 o'clock. One will walk past me, and he will just say,
I am not sure why he absorbed the sword, but
whatever
that
it is he's
is
selling,
kind of cool.
I don't know the thing for anyway.
Yeah, I want to hear you try to talk drug culture lingo so bad.
I got slapped chutney.
But no, we'll walk past. And then I just walk past. Even if I don't acknowledge him, he will not care. And he'll just walk right past and not give it a second thought. He won't camp out on my car.
No, I mean, drugs are a seller's market, Leon. He can sell to anybody. He doesn't give a shit if you don't want drugs. Also, drugs will not give you gonorrhea, so there's less of a...
Yeah,
These guys are dumb.
drugs. Most drugs will not give you gonorrhea, Austin. Thank you kindly.
So, the only time, see, I live, I'm going to give away exactly where I live in the city, but I live...
Which I did on a previous episode. You deleted it.
Right.
Howard.
Right. I live, look, I don't know for sure, but I think that there are drug people who live 2 doors down from me. When I say drug people, I don't know if it's a crack den or if it's just a place where people get together and responsibly do cocaine. But
Leon's ambiguous crash then.
I don't know what's going on there.
How'd they find a cage?
It's the Baltimore, the Baltimore Elder Society of Cocaine Enthusiasts. There we go.
Huh.
Something's going on in there that's just based on the way people go in and out, based on the way people roll up to that building. People come in and people come out and then leave very quickly.
And give
Something's
me 2
going on there.
jackasses.
I assume it's drug related. But it's not like an underground Magic the Gathering ring. They're doing
Leon, your life is the Wire spin-off I never knew I wanted.
It's so boring.
Try hitting them again. Of course.
I'm not even Bubbles. I'm like...
It's Baltimore's seedy underground from the perspective of a balding nerd.
It's an extra. That's what I am. I'm an extra on the Wire. And the thing is, even with all these other people, the only time someone has ever like, approached my car for either they thought I had drugs or they wanted to give me drugs. Not give me, like as a gift. I mean, sell me drugs.
Anybody wants free drugs? Do I hear 21? 21? 21? I'll give you 21.
Why are you doing an auctioneer thing?
Let's just stop. No.
That, gentleman, was an excerpt from Scott Walker's 1997 Tilt album, Farmer in the City.
Oh my God.
Are you getting paid for this?
Yeah, I feel like you are. But no. Seriously, the only time someone has ever like aggressively offered me drugs is when I had to park in front of the maybe crack den because it's 2 doors down and there was an open spot. So I pulled
Breath
in.
of Fire 2 reference
someone
right
came out
here.
of the crack den and much like a prostitute, put his face up against the passenger side of my car, and I had to look at him and I said the same thing. I said, "No!" He wouldn't believe me though because I park here. It's not like I live here or anything, but he wouldn't believe me. So I said, "No!" again.
I really hope that's your fucking default for everything you decline. Like you're at the subway and they're like, would you like a
Hot peppers on that? No! No!
I really do not like
Little
Dino.
cab trying to sell you cookies.
You know what? The drug dealers in my neighborhood are far less aggressive, far less annoying than all the Christians who knock on my door at 9 o'clock in the morning asking me to convert to their religion.
Anyway,
What?
and you're gonna cut this story out.
No. I mean no disrespect to Christians in general, but seriously, don't knock on my door. That's not a great way to convert someone to
Dumbass
their
little
religion.
shit.
Leon, try to sell them drugs. Come on, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Have you heard the good news? You're like, yeah, crack pipe
All the
prices
things
are
we do.
all-time low. Want to get in on this, son?
It's always a little
Think she can learn
confusing
something
when,
being a little princess and all.
Christians knock on my door to try to convert me to Christianity. Are they like losing a lot of numbers? Are there like not enough Christians on Earth? 'Cause
Yeah.
I believe that
I'd have done the same.
everywhere.
Actually, the last time I checked, Christianity has been on the rise for a while. Since about 9/11, actually, especially in the South, Christianity is making a resurgence. They have a hard time filling this queue who identify as Christian.
So why?
Yeah, I'm into God, but I don't want to have
It's a lot of work to do this stuff. You can go listen to a person talk. Just get a cross tattoo. It's fine. You know. The Bible says you're not allowed to get tattoos. Anyway, that's my favorite. Religious tattoos, Christian tattoos, crack me up. What was I saying? I lost it. Yeah, now I'm just imagining all of Baltimore's criminal element being like the zombies from World War Z, where they just like throw themselves through your open car window as you're driving. And
You know,
like,
I accidentally picked up a prostitute once.
accidentally.
No, that's the story.
It was like I was hanging out with a good friend of mine in the East End of Vancouver, which is notorious, at least locally.
Come on, buddy.
The Detroit of Canada.
It's saturated. Well, Vancouver actually has the most homeless population in Canada. Like,
But I can't unlock this.
Its major metropolitan cities, and a lot of people are like, well, you can blame Vancouver's like cost of living because we're a very expensive city to live in. But there's also
Sure, I
the
wanna
fact
say,
that
but,
climate
oh well.
is really moderate. So it's way easier to survive a winter in Vancouver than it is to survive a winter in Moose Jaw. So there were a lot of homeless people that migrate to Vancouver as well because they can safely kind of like live outdoors. In any case, you know, so the East End is a little saturated with that.
You're a sheep.
And I was.
What the hell is wrong with you, buddy?
We had just been out together, hanging out, and so she got out of the car. We said goodnight, and then I started to drive away. And I got like maybe 20 minutes or something like that to a stop sign where naturally we stopped. And I stopped the car and I'm like looking both ways when suddenly the passenger side of my car opened. See, like she had just left the car and it left it unlocked. So somebody on the street was like, well, obviously this is like, you know, an invite, right?
I just imagine Johnny's monocle popping out. Most unorthodox.
You know, and I was like, I'm really sorry that they maybe thought that I was propositioning you. That is, I was at the stop sign as I was attempting to get to the intersection, and I didn't have the wrong idea.
Yeah, that takes the
She's like,
wind out of you.
I was like,
So does that.
okay. She's like, you want to maybe
Okay.
hang out? And I was like, I'm not nowhere to be,
Accession.
unfortunately.
I hear there's really nice parties in Moose Jaw.
Yeah, so I
Pretty sure that's supposed to have been Ascension.
where apparently she had a we said goodnight, and that was that.
I wonder if she thought that you were either trying to give you the hard sell, or she thought you were about to pretty woman her.
She pretty much asked me out on a date when we were like, when we were going. She was like, hey, I hung out at this bar tonight, so I don't know if you just want to come around and say hi.
Hey, I think that's a date is a euphemism, John.
Very possibly.
Sure shit mattered.
She didn't say like, hey, she was like, you're really nice. A lot of other people would be really relaxed.
Like me.
Oh, damn it!
It's not an issue. It's not an issue. What I'm trying to say is, there are clubs all over my neighborhood, and if a prostitute got her way into my car, or a police officer thought I really was chatting up a prostitute, I don't really know how well I would handle that under pressure. If I'm arrested once for solicitation of a prostitute, that's just on my record. Like, for fucking ever. And I used to have a job where I would have to have constant background checks. I don't anymore, but there's always a chance I will have to fall back. There's always a chance I will have to fall back on teaching again in the future. And if that's on my record, that's over. You would be surprised how quickly someone will be removed from a possible teaching position if there's even the slightest possibility that they be even mildly creepy.
Really? Really? You think that the schools might be concerned that the people that they have teaching their kids wouldn't want to be like, oh, I don't know, involved in the sex trade in any way?
Exactly. No,
That boggles my mind, Leo.
I completely understand. And were I in the principal's position and I found out that one of my teachers was constantly soliciting prostitutes, I'd be a little weird.
Constantly.
Oh, yeah, like you get called into the principal's office, they're like, listen, I know this is Baltimore. Prostitutes they just
I know
get in your
Luke
car
can
sometimes.
unlock
Cool, bro.
doors, but maybe
Right.
she should.
How understanding could they be?
My fear of
It's weird that you mentioned that as a quick aside, because apparently in British Columbia, the
Had the
profession
goddamn
that is,
key.
like, most likely to hire a prostitute apparently is teacher.
oh my, well, not where I live.
Well,
on the
Are you sure about that?
I hope I'm right about that. I hope that that's not like a constant thing.
Why not? I think this is a good time to take an aside and mention that prostitutes are
This
people
next
too. I don't know if that's clear.
area has
We've
some
been
puzzle
talking shit
elements
about
to
homeless
it.
people and prostitutes. They are
Should
humans.
not be
It's
too
a
much of a
shame
problem.
that they...
Yeah, Leon.
Okay, first of all, the very first thing I
I
said in
know.
this
The
conversation
chance of me
was
wandering
I
around
feel
is a
bad
good
for prostitutes, and
way
I
of trying
feel
to
bad
level her
that I
up.
even assume someone is a prostitute. So I want
Then
that to be
again-
clear. The second thing is, I don't dislike them. Like,
The sooner I
I'm
get
not-
out, the better.
It's not like when they get near my car, I'm like, ew, you're gonna get STDs on my car. I'm not being a dick about it. I'm just genuinely afraid that this is the moment that a cop pulls up and assumes I'm up to something illegal. Because they're everywhere in my neighborhood. There are far more cops than there are prostitutes in my neighborhood. The cops scare me way more than the prostitutes. The prostitutes are just trying to give me a good time. The police officers, by definition, are not. So anyway, I didn't.
Try to
when
ease
I'm
it
saying
in.
this, I am trying to be as polite as I can. I'm not actually saying anything. I'm not trying to be in any way demeaning to sex workers. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say.
Oh man, this is half an hour conversation. I was hoping we could just make it full episode. Just give me we could just call it like Leon's prostitute extravaganza.
There's no way that's going to be the title. I just want you to know that right now.
You're just a constant source of disappointment in my life. Yeah.
There is, like, I hope everyone understands when I'm saying this. I'm not society, not just prostitutes, but people who work as exotic dancers. I've had friends who have been exotic dancers. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. You know, you gotta pay the bill somehow, and that's actually
I've met some very nice prostitutes in my life.
okay. Yeah, there's probably perfectly nice prostitutes.
Oh,
as well.
Completely off the record, I have access.
Okay. No.
Off the record means getting deleted.
Do you want me to edit that out, or do you mean off the record?
No. I mean, it was. It doesn't have to be
This'll take a
out or
while.
anything like that. It was legal. It wasn't like weird tawdry or anything like that. It wasn't some black and white shadowy up in a damn alley somewhere.
Right.
That's down to that. At least take it to a stairwell.
Where some of them have some reasonable maintaining contact and
What's the weirdest places you guys have ever had sex? I have so many to choose from, guys.
What's your greatest hits collection? New from Intel Records comes the Austin collection for the 21st century man.
I'm gonna say Disney World. Oh,
Wait, no, where? No, you have to be more.
It's very broad. Was it like Space Mountain or like the Epcot Center?
Was it literally on top of the big
Not on top.
Where?
Another time, just like behind me.
Oh wow.
So, I mean, not doing I wouldn't do that to Michael. Allegedly, fuck. Benefit of the doubt. Yeah, he's probably.
I will say he's freaky as fuck.
Not illegal.
Yeah, not illegal. And I gotta tell you boys, I've been rubbed a lot of ways, and a lot of those ways are right. When you rub either wrong way, something's going on.
We're not talking about shaving.
No.
What happened to this show?
I don't know, man. We just went like off the rails into the ocean and just like. I just have this image now of like a train wreck reaching like a whale, just like this mangled train exploding out of the ocean and something going.
We need to find out where these secret areas are. Secret items.
It's like the ending of Snowpiercer, but in an hour.
Not anywhere here.
Oh god. So, do you guys actually talk about this topic, or should we just keep talking about bullshit? We've
Oh, wow.
talked about so many things on the topic from the two on this front,
Let's see if Typhoon works.
but just not you told a story about a person who you thought ate their dog. Another episode. Yes, that's the opening of the BC podcast episode. With my iPod's on shuffle, it comes up. I hear the ending sometimes.
I don't remember that at all, but if it was a TV podcast, that was like years ago.
Doesn't count.
Yeah, it's retcon at this point.
Wait, none of the BT podcasts
She
is
here.
canon?
No,
No.
the BT podcast is totally canon.
Oh man, we're screaming here.
Alright.
I'm the tiebreaker. I'm gonna say it's an alternate universe. It's still canon, but it's not the same. It's like a Star Trek movie.
We've never asked each other, even though we've known each other for like 4 years, something like that.
I gotta say, that conversation happened.
Okay, I'm getting a better idea of what I need to be
That
doing.
wasn't a really forced sort of like late Friday night sleepover slumber party thing, like a bottle and a I don't know, one of those like little foldy paper pieces where you like take a color OPULE. All right.
about your dick.
We met many years ago after discovering him tattooed when I was an infant. And our first contact pretty much assured that we'd be lifelong friends as long as we would both prosper.
Never occurred to me to ask. I'm just like,
That's right. Discuss my penis on the canon episode.
that was
My penis is canon.
that was relevant to a different discussion. Though. It's never like Johnny used to make up like intros. Or like this is the cheese episode, or like this is the quadriplegic dolphin episode. But like he was never just like, so guys, how do you feel about something? Like, he never just went that way. But, yeah, that's not recreational.
No, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, you don't mean if you were judging me.
I'm sure there's someone for whom being an infection in the prostate is their fetish.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess.
Someone explained to me something recently. Apparently there's a thing, I disputed that it was a thing. Apparently it's called like a bug catcher, and like their fetish is getting as many STDs as possible.
This might be like the ending
And I was
of
like,
it.
that's not real. And they're like,
I
Google it.
better
And I
stay
was
away
like,
from that for now.
I'm not gonna have that in my search history, so I'll just
Oh.
take it for you.
I'm Googling it right now. Because
It just sounds like a thing someone would make up to like humanize promiscuity, as opposed to a thing someone would actually do.
it's actually,
Ah.
and, oh, you know what? You know what? This redirects from something called, you can't even do it. Something called Fuck Up Death. At the very top of the bug chasing Wikipedia page says, Fuck Up Death redirects here.
I bet it does.
Okay, I'm not gonna read the entire thing, but just the first bug chasing is the practice of HIV individuals, or to correct HIV, individuals engaged in this activity are referred to as bug catchers.
So I guess that was a thing.
Yeah,
I
okay.
lost that argument.
Okay. Some people, apparently it's like a taboo thing. Like, ooh, what might happen?
Should
I
be
know
more
what's
fun
gonna
with
happen.
this.
But apparently
Oh.
this is just...
These are two of them.
It's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a fetish for everything. I joked about like taking an infection in your prostate, but there is not a single thing the human mind can come up with that someone will not touch their bits while thinking about. So, yeah. The answer to every like fetish question is yes, somebody.
including this podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was visual, maybe all three of us lined up in like really sharp suits. But just the sound of our voices, I don't know.
People used to say, back when I did Art of Gaming, I
You
had
should have wrote that down.
weird fangirls who liked the sound of my voice. The whole point of the voice on the show was that it was not appealing.
Yeah, Leon, you had a rebellious mystique.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Okay.
Well, like the character on the show is supposed to be like, he's like a bad boy and an asshole. I hope I'm not an asshole, but I'm definitely not. I'm very vanilla.
No, the bad boy thing is a total turn on, Leon. The reason it doesn't work on this show is because Johnny and my voice cancel your dulcet tones out because we're like at a high, like not sexy kind of register.
Yeah, I think somebody once described my voice as being a nerdy, a pitched, nerdy squeak. I
No.
don't think so, no.
I think it was a commenter that said they
Wow.
couldn't tell me. I actually got a text from my girlfriend.
If I don't get this right, I'm just gonna
She's
go
like, I
and
listened
find
to
a
the
guide.
podcast again. I can tell you apart from Johnny now, and I was like, that's.
You don't sound anything alike.
That kind of warms my heart. I'm really happy with that.
We just have generic white guy voices. Leon, you have very like.
Alright.
You have.
Alright, first of all,
You have
I know it's.
both of us combined.
But Johnny, your voice, and I'm not trying to be a jerk when I say this, but Johnny, your voice is very high.
Yes.
And Austin, you're much lower. I don't think they're very similar at all. But whatever, maybe it's just me.
Maybe. I don't know.
All right.
I mean, I have trouble telling white people apart under the best circumstances, let alone when you have a personal bias of it being me, you know?
White people, what are they even good for? Oh, by the way, behind the scenes bit from the most recent Attack of the Track, I was trying to write a joke about white people in space, and I was gonna be, and I kept writing it, and I was like, what do white people are really known for? And then I typed in Google white people, and the first one that popped up was kale, and that ended up being a joke on the episode because I wasn't sure what if like for example, I recently apparently there are foods that people associate with certain races, which is basically a stupid stereotype and usually pretty offensive and productive. But apparently I didn't know what white people were known to eat, but apparently
Quinoa.
Yeah, those are like hipster stereotypes, and white people are like the hipsteriest race. So yeah, quinoa, kale, anything like yogurt, organic stuff. I guess yogurt's Middle Eastern, but in America.
Free range.
of all the ugly stereotypes, I think food-based ones are among the stupidest.
Because burritos are fucking delicious, and I will fight anyone who disagrees.
Right.
I love me some fried chicken.
That's right. The stupidest stereotypes about African Americans I ever hear are chicken and watermelon. And it's like,
Well, you know where those come from, right?
I've heard that there are theories, but what my point is, like, are you saying that you don't like chicken and watermelon? Unless you have a problem with chicken and watermelon, you can't say shit. I mean, stereotypes in general are really an embarrassing part of our society.
And I defy anybody to have a plate of fried chicken and waffles and not come out of that experience and be like, yeah, that was a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, those are the dumbest stereotypes. I mean, not that stereotypes in general are ever good, but those are among the stupidest. But yeah, tell me, I've heard lore about stereotypes coming to be.
Guess I do need to go and do something with the debate one.
Well, the watermelon one I heard was like after slavery was
But
abolished.
first, I gotta go through all this
like,
shit
former
here.
slaves started getting their own land to grow stuff on. A lot of them grew watermelon, so it became like a way of disparaging them and kind of just generally being dicks to people who used to be property. I don't know exactly the fried chicken one, but the thing that stands out to me is like in Birth of a Nation, there's the scene where like the black like senator or whatever is like eating fried chicken in in one of the meetings or whatever. And it's just like, oh, look at them, they're so, proper.
That thing actually had some defense.
Yeah, I don't know. It's basically they're just created to just be cool. It's not even like a good stereotype. Like, sometimes it's funny, like stereotypes.
I'm pretty sure they could have picked up like any food group they wanted to, and they would have just been like, oh my god, look at him eating cheddar with his hands, savage, and
Like
pizza too.
Like the quinoa thing. Like hipsters do eat a lot of quinoa. It's a thing. Like
I don't
it's
even
kind
know
of.
what is quinoa. I honestly don't know.
It's a super grain.
Yeah, it's a grain.
It's basically, it's like shitty barley is what it is. It's like shitty barley that fucking rapes the soil and just like...
Trigger warning, barley. It's like rice. You like boil it in water and then you eat it and it doesn't have too much flavor.
Why would anyone eat it? I mean, is
It
there
has a lot of protein and fiber.
Oh, okay, alright.
It's good food. It's got a lot of, there's a lot of shit in it. And it's like, it pulls, and I'm serious that it destroys soil. Like, it pulls soil, things out of soil. And it renders fields it's a mess.
Let's talk about sustainable farming for a while, guys. That's what our audience wants to hear. See,
I have a really nice garden on my balcony right now. I just got some potatoes going. There's like a tomato plant that's got like 22 like little tomatoes that are growing on it. I got thyme, I got sage, I got rosemary, I got a garlic bud. Dude, I
time.
Yeah, absolutely. And then again, we turn back to fertilizers, of which, like, the most effective fertilizers that are on the market right now are all petroleum-based.
Really? I thought it was bullshit. I was gonna say we could just use this podcast to fertilize.
No, it's true. The most effective fertilizers on the market right now are petroleum-based. Because there's so much shit in petroleum that just, like,
Let's see if
soaks
that's
back into the
enough.
soil and gives energy, you know? Like, it just... So, I mean, it's right there, you're pushing up gas prices, you're giving money to, like, oil-based industries and things like that, and, like, yeah, I mean, it's nuts.
This is just the best episode we've ever done. There's 15 minutes left. We haven't even approached the topic. So John, you think the prostitute do that? Is she not know about refractory periods? Just assume she dropped off one person and picked up another?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, 20 feet, I might be underestimating 20 feet exactly, but it was, there was not, I had not
apparently
even
not.
hit a cross street yet. Oh, you know what? I remember now, I had to do a U-turn. So I had to drive up
Figure out
the
which
street
ones I did not press
around
screen on.
back.
They made it look like you were cruising.
Yeah, I guess I did. I gave it that idea. I was putting out the wrong signals, Perhaps they shouldn't have
Leon, were you trying to say something before we went back into the weird shit?
No. I was just saying I was wondering about that myself. I thought that the prostitute who saw you drop off your friend assumed that you were just down for another prostitute. And
Yeah, you were just like, man, this guy's at the prostitute buffet. Now look at this one virile looking motherfucker. John, did you give off that vibe?
I don't believe I do. I think I'm a little more reserved than that in person. A little less austere.
It's all that elk testosterone.
That must be it, yeah.
if there are any prostitutes from Baltimore listening to our podcast, I apologize if I had ever been abrasive to you, like in response to you being a little aggressive with your marketing. I'm just very, I definitely, it's not even you, I'm definitely afraid of ever being arrested. So it's not so much you. If prostitution was legal and you walk up to my car, I would be like more courteous. But
It should be legal because then they can hire like a marketing firm to more efficiently spread their message, you know? You wouldn't need to be aggressively upselling
this
people who are
works.
trying to park in front of crack dens.
Yeah, you could have billboards and things like that instead.
at the very least, I would feel better if there were prostitutes on the thing. I would feel like a jerk right afterwards because I have to very quickly get them away from me because I'm that afraid of a cop pulling up behind me. Cops pull up behind me all the time, and I get pulled over for things I didn't even know were illegal. I've never been arrested, but I have been like talked to in a way that I
In
didn't.
a stern voice.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
I've been represented in ways that I didn't quite appreciate, and I just have a fear of being arrested so much that this slightest illegal thing coming anywhere near me makes me a little jittery.
If it was legal, Leon, how would that affect your style of decline at all?
Yeah, it absolutely would, because it's not about them. It's about being afraid that at this very moment, this is the time. If it's peered into my window, I would actually say, I'm not interested. And actually, I would just move on. Because who cares if anyone sees me? I would just say, I'm actually not interested. I'm here. I live in this block, and I have to be here. You should know me by now. I would say that.
How is the word not spread in the prostitution community? Do you have a rep?
I don't have a I'm the guy who doesn't do anything. You should know by now that I'm the guy who doesn't do anything. To just leave me alone to go ahead and keep not doing anything.
I think everyone, like, in my general vicinity knows me as the walking guy. Because, like, I walk everywhere every day for, like, miles and miles all around Tallahassee half the time. So I feel like people have seen me.
Is it practical, like you don't have a car, or is it just exercise?
It's both, I guess. I don't have a car, and I do it mostly for exercise. Also, Tallahassee is just really conveniently close together.
Okay.
'Cause it's kind of an old ass city from like horse times, so. I'm just
horse times.
yes.
Horse times, you say?
When things needed to be close enough together to get there by horse. Yes, horse times, Leon. It's a fucking official. It's like there was the medieval period, there was the Baroque period, there's the fucking horse times. Okay? Look it up. Google it. Fuck. I'm sorry. You know, by the official title, is it the Equestrian Epic? Fuck. This joke has run its course, but Johnny, you're back. Johnny was gone for a second. We didn't tell the audience. He's back. Do you have a reputation in your neighborhood, or your hood, as it's known?
Is it?
Like any...
Like, do people know you? They're like, oh, that's the guy who's always picking up strange women on street corners.
Oh, people tell me people that actually come out of their way to comment on my manners, actually. I'm sort of like, thanks, I guess.
That's not the most polite way to say
They're like, I take it back.
it.
No, I just, you know, like, I'm not sure how to react when somebody says, yeah, you have really nice manners. Because on
You're like, you don't know me. You don't know my life. You don't know my struggles.
step off!
Besides prostitutes, people have complimented me on my manners before. Besides prostitutes, right? Besides prostitutes, if I'm normally dealing with anyone else, usually elderly people mention the fact that I'm polite, and I say, well, I was raised by my grandparents, and they say, oh, that's it.
Isn't that their catchphrase, though? Old people are always like, oh, you're such a polite young man.
Oh, it's because I say please and thank you and hold doors for old ladies. That's what you're supposed to do. But yeah.
Were you a Boy Scout, Leon?
Yes, I was.
So was I. I quit that shit.
I did.
I had shit to do. I had bitches to bang.
There were no women at all. During my Boy Scout.
The great women drought of 45.
there were no, no, I wasn't dating anyone when I was in Boy Scouts. The reason I quit is because I never wanted to be in it in the first place.
And that's the actual reason.
Although my grandparents, I would say, were the strongest influences on me. My regular parents weren't, like, absent. My mother wanted me to join the Boy Scouts because she thought it would be good for me because I was a godless heathen. And she...
As you remain.
Right, as I remain. And she insisted that I join the Boy Scouts.
Wow, you haven't figured out how the real world works, did
Do
you?
what they say because they give you a roof. So I was in the Boy Scouts. I didn't like it at all, but I was looking forward to camping because I like to camp, like by myself. And, oh well, at least I get to go camping. And I did, and that was cool. Except the fact that there were like 50 other guys, and I had to share my tent with a bunch of people I didn't know. And it's like, this isn't camping to me. Camping to me was always me, a dog, and in the middle of nowhere. That's it. That was camping for me, but I had to share it with all these fucking kids.
Well, Matt really likes to light things on fire.
They're just assholes. Oh, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I have one merit badge, and I cheated to get it.
Leon Thomas. Merit badge, right?
What happened? There's this big camping trip. One of them was survival merit badge. And I said, actually what I like to do. I just like to be in the middle of nowhere. But of course it wasn't. It was me and like a dozen other kids who thought they were good enough to do this. And what happened?
You can call them.
Yeah, a bunch of wilderness posters. But no, so I went out there and
Man, I was into this tree thing before it was even big.
what happened was basically the rules were you had to build a shelter with a partner or a group of three, and
Yeah, thanks,
sleep
dude.
in it, and that would be your test. And I'm like, okay, well I know how to build a shelter. I can build one myself, and I did. I built one for myself and my partner, and it was no big deal. I'm awesome at it apparently, and probably somebody build a shelter. They suck at it. And they said,
This place is
well,
kinda
Leon's
weird.
shelter is pretty good, so how about one of the kids
That
from the
guy
shelter
looks kinda
is also
weird.
sleep with Leon and his partner, whoever that kid was. And I was like, there's enough room for 2 of us, there's not 3, so we all have to scrunch in there.
X?
And like,
The
an
fuck
hour
are you
in,
talking
I was
about?
sleeping. I was like, fuck this. And I got out of the shelter. The rule was you had to sleep in it all night. But I left the shelter and slept under a tree in the distance. When the sun came up, I crawled back to the shelter as the scoutmaster was going by and made it look like I was just coming out of it. And I was like,
Well,
oh,
fuck
because
you
that's
and
my
you're
shelter.
not
And
liking
then
the
they came
tourism
and
shit.
I won, I guess.
You won.
I won it deceiving the Boy Scouts. Shortly thereafter, we were at a meeting, and they were saying a bunch of shit that I didn't much agree with or care for. I won't go into details. It had to do with Noah's Ark. And then, I walked out.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking ambiguity about your feelings on that. Yeah.
So I left the meeting, and I walked home.
Ha
And I
ha.
came in, and my mother said, what are you doing home? And I said, I quit. You will not make me go back. I don't care if I get punished. And I slammed the door in my room, and I never had to go back. And
How old were you at this point?
I want to say 13 or 4, I want to say 14.
All right.
So it's like old enough
Stabby
that
bitch.
at this point, being in the Boy Scouts is fucking stupid. That's for like elementary and middle school people. Once you're about to be a freshman in high school, that shit is done.
Yeah, I left right before that point in time. I left the Boy Scouts when I was like 11 or 12.
Wait, so we were all in the Boy Scouts?
We were all in the Boy Scouts. However, gentlemen, I just want to draw a line here that the Boy Scouts of Canada are actually a different organization than the Boy Scouts of America.
Oh yeah.
The Canadian Boy Scouts are actually secular.
That's the right Boy Scouts.
We tie knots, and then they're like, "How does that make you feel?" And then, to be honest with you, I'm a little gay. and they're like, "Okay."
It's working. I like to imagine Leon getting back from a fucking Bible study thing and like, Mom, this is bullshit. The fucking cat is the mice. I'm not an idiot. How would you
Oh,
pick
fuck
them
you,
all?
buddy.
Oh,
Don't you know how many species of beetle there are? Okay.
Every species, even ducks. The ducks would be fine, Mom. They're waterfowl.
I like to think that the Boy Scouts have given us all a tiny bit of insight into what do they
Downstairs
call
it is.
homosocial activity,
Yeah.
which is kind of like gay but without penetration.
The hell?
Hanging out with your bros, just be a good bro, nothing gay about it.
I
Getting
would.
a little sweaty, you know, climbing a tree, wrapping your hands around a long, thick, hard trunk.
We're almost out of time, but Leon, you accidentally almost segued into a topic and I wanted to address it because you said, oh, I just thought camping would be me and a dog in the wilderness. That's what Fallout 4 looks like. Fallout 4 exists. It was mostly a dog. That was the trailer. The graphics don't look great. They also announced XCOM 2, which there are snakes now. That's the thing.
Is Fallout 4 going to be for PC?
Yes.
Then I might give it a try.
And XCOM 2 is going to be PC.
I wouldn't hold your breath on that one, because I don't have a whole lot.
Yes, come in.
It's gonna be any good.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm not a big Western RPG guy, but I might give it a shot, you know.
Yeah, I
I mean,
can
my,
wait.
my wife will probably, well, no, I shouldn't say probably. My wife will want to play it. She's a big Fallout fan.
Yeah.
You can just do like a shirtless mod and then it'll appeal to Leon. Give all the NPCs like rippling abs.
Oily, rippling abs. They've got to reflect the light.
And the last story is Steam is offering refunds for games now, which is mostly good news because it's good to have options. Kind of bad news for anyone who makes indie games under 2 hours because you can refund any game that you played less than 2 hours. So if you made like a micro game, that sucks to be you, I guess.
Yeah, if you decide to power through Gone Home and just be like, that's the twist, I hate this game, then, you know, people are gonna get paid for what they do.
Although at that point, really, you can just watch the Let's Play if you're gonna only commit like an hour to a game and try to rush. But whatever, that's a conversation.
saying it's pretty
for your
useless, but,
podcast.
Yeah.
Fucking
See what the other guy does.
time variety hour.
Protection's more
That I
important right
remember
now.
that.
I suppose we can't really talk about Fallout 4 until we hear more about it, because there are other things that people are going to want to know. Like, I want to know questions that people asked about fucking Skyrim. You know, is it going to have like co-op multiplayer in it? Like, what kind of graphics APIs are you going to have? Like, what, you know?
Johnny, there's a dog in the trailer. I'm sold.
There was a dog in Fallout 3, Austin. Dig deep into your heart and remember how Fallout 3 makes you feel.
I love Fallout 3, except the end. The first 100 hours is great.
Okay, alright, we have to go. Anything you guys want to say very quickly before we go?
Fallout New Vegas was a better game.
Okay.
It was buggy as shit. For the title card,
It was a better game.
for the title card, can you use that picture of the 3 dogs in the suit?
Show it to me. Where is it?
I put it in the chat.
I'll find it then. Yeah, I will do that.
And then label them with our names. I want to be the one with the glasses.
Deal. Okay.
Bye, guys.
Alright, I gotta go.
You guys are awful.
Yeah, we need to get you some new stuff. There's a reason I need to hold on to some of these weapons. Or the one-offs, anyway. Very kind of important. So weird to see that. Goodbye, Wastecloth. You're so good to me. The Midas Stone. That sounds awesome in theory, but it's kind of dumb. Also, you have to think with her. Kind of want those other items, the usable ones, but they aren't really needed. Hello, sheep. Pretty sure I linked it to you earlier. Well, not you personally, but I did put it in the chat room. Guess what we're gonna do soon? Hospital? Huh. Oh yeah, inoculations. You can use this to, give yourself some kind of resistance to something. Yeah, I see it. And now we're gonna play hide and seek, sheep. Just us and these damn kids. Curious just about that one thief thing. Or the one would-be booger. Found you. Pretty ballsy being next to that guy. These guys aren't too great at hide and seek right now. But man, let me tell you, the future installment of it is gonna be, it's on a grander scale. Bring it, little shit. Range. Yeah, there you are. Oh, this could be a wild goose chase.